Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, or whenever you're watching this. So, this is round six of the Ivy House Winter League. So, obviously, 6 rounds. It's on 5 different lakes. There's 2 sections on Heron, there's 1 section on Willow, there's 1 section on Old Match Lake, 1 section on Moran, and 1 section on Kingfisher. And we all rotate. For those who don't know, so obviously, some people might watch this, understand it, or even fish in the league. So, hello, if you are watching from the league. Well, I should say I am mate. I only do one rap on this, so if I get tongue tied, I get tongue tied. So I'm on Kingfisher. For those who don't know it, peg 44. Um, None of us really knew where it was going to be great because the fish do move around. So last round, peg 37 was second, Rob Guppy, and peg 50 won it, Matty Hamilton. So fair play. And to be fair, both of them pegs, for me, on paper, I probably wouldn't have fancied. So it just shows. Um, so today, Dwayne Sweet's drawn 37, which on paper was awesome. Don't mean to contradict myself, but this like winter, so 2023 now 2024, that hasn't thrown up at all, which is a bit odd to be honest with you, and I can't give an explanation why that is. This lake is very much, and as you can probably see me, this is slightly speeded up. I am like trying to find the fish, so I'm like fishing all over the place. Haven't fed anything as of yet, and obviously this is a voiceover. Um, and looking back at this, I didn't realise quite how long. I'm gonna have to get a watch. I didn't quite know how long I was actually dobbing for, and it's actually 50 minutes. So even the kingfisher's looking down and getting a bit bored, which is kind of apt because there really is a. I think there's a couple of kingfishers flying around the complex. So I finally fed some bait, which I was really reluctant to do. I didn't quite know what to do, if I'm honest. I don't know why I say it, if I'm honest. Magoo next to me is not joking. I think he's got 6 or 7 carp. So we're about 55 minutes in, 56 minutes in, looking back at this video. I didn't see the point of making you watch 56 minutes, otherwise you're definitely going to fall asleep. So tapped in some maggots and pretty much, to be honest, you got an instant response. Um, I ain't gonna. Well, I don't know why I say that. I ain't gonna lie, but this fish is actually foul look, so it's actually hooked in the anal fin. Obviously, I didn't know that at the time, but it didn't feel right. Water's really cold, so been quite lucky that it's been a little bit lethargic, so it hasn't gone crazy. Because obviously, sometimes when you foul look them, they can like just fight really, really hard and go mental. So this is a bit worrying. Like I fed a bit of bait, so obviously it's come to it, maybe by accident, but obviously hasn't fed on it properly, or am I fishing at the wrong depth? All these things are going through my mind. At the moment, I've put the rig on that's basically just about touching bottom. So I'm probably maybe an inch over depth on just a single maggot. A 4x10 rig, I've always found that real light rigs tend to work better on here. Uh, don't get me wrong, over summer fishing like worm stodge and stuff, might be want to be fishing a half a gram rig, but this is not. This is like obviously water's reasonably clear. I wouldn't say it's crystal clear. There's a tinge of colour, more colour than what there has been. But honestly, lighter rigs just tend to be better. But also fishing light as well, fishing 010, 22 hook, 4x10 rig, and then a Maver 1.6 um, elastic. What else can I say? Oh, through a short kit as well. So it does power up quite quick. And my box leg just slipped. Probably done out within 19, 20 minutes. So I've had an F1. So I've had a carp, which you just see, had an F1, which you haven't seen. And then I've hooked this, and I played it for ages. Played it for actually 12 minutes. And again, I didn't see the point of you watching me teaching a fish how to swim, I guess. But again, on 010, that elastic, took my time, felt it was hooked right. And I knew it was a big fish because it was again quite lethargic and stuff, and just felt really heavy. So massive bonus. At this point, I'm not sure exactly how many carp Magoo's got. I reckon he's got at least, off the top of my head, probably about 11, and I've got 2. Gary Knight next to me is probably got 5 carp maybe. They're a lot smaller. So I would say at this point, I would say I'm beating him. So about an hour and 25 minutes in. Now I'm really beginning to think because obviously I'd have a response now. So I've had a carp which was foul hooked, then I've had an F1, and then this big carp by feeding some bait. I've fed a tiny bit of bait now, 13 meters, just where it begins to come up the slope slightly because I felt that's like a bit of a harder bottom. Tend to catch fish quite well here. For those who don't know, like on the slopes, so like corn and micros is a brilliant bait. But normally when we just come into like proper winter, so like sort of October, November, still fed it because it's been mild, but sort of deep down thinking that's probably not maybe going to work in front of me. But then I have fed it. God, I do strike hard, don't I? I do. I have fed it. What do we call it? To my right against the pallet. Now I'm lucky because the pallet 43. Yeah, it's 43 because it's going to the right. Gary can't really get to it because there's a tree in the way. Now, so that means I can fish this side of the pallet. But what's good about it, because whoever's drawn next to it, next to me on 42, they can't really get to it because, like I said, there's a tree in the way. So that means you got it to yourself, which is great. So I thought maybe I might be lucky to catch a few fish down the edge, which I did. The last 15 minutes, I've had 2 proper carp. I want to say proper, like 3 pounders each. And unfortunately, I've lost one, which made me a bit angry. But the video, the camera, the battery ran out, so you won't see that. And to be fair, you probably wouldn't see me unless I got up and moved the cameras around, which I didn't dare want to get up because I was worried that I'd spook the fish because the water's clear and stuff. And I guess I ain't the smallest of guys. So now I'm beginning to like basically tap into maggots and starting to think about introducing feed somewhere else. So I fed a bit down the edge, a bit at 13 meters on the slope, and then also what you call it, obviously fed the far bank. But I'm thinking because it's great with the pegging because you got all of us got a bit of room. So I'm thinking obviously I can move to my left or my right. Now there's a 16-meter pole limit, so obviously can't go past that. You could chuck a rod, but I feel like presentation wise, it ain't going to beat a pole. So now I'm going to start introducing some bait. I feel like I'm fishing for second now. I just don't think Magoo's just got to make no mistakes. He's catching well. The only other way I think them fish are going to move, and they could move left to Nick on 48, or they could move to me. If I'm lucky, Magoo's on 46. If Magoo starts losing them, but he ain't. I mean, he's lost a couple, but hardly anything considering how many he's hooked. So fair play to him. And for those who don't know, basically Magoo's the score delay. He got 133 pound, and the next weight was 36 pounds 6 ounces, which was me. And then Gareth's had 36 pound 1 ounce, and Dwayne's had 35 pound. So what I'm going to do now, which I've done on my other videos, rather than rambling on, I'm just going to let you watch what I've got. So I'm going to play a bit of music. I hope you like the music. I know some people said they didn't like it. But then I think some of the views I get is like 2,000 views and only one person moans. But obviously I'm sure other people think about it, but just don't decide to put any comments. Anyway, so I'm going to play some music. Hope you enjoy it. And then I'm going to show you a review at the end. So there's today's weights. Now, don't get me wrong, I know it fished hard in places, but believe me, there is stacks of fish in here. And there's the picture of Magoo. Fair play to him. So this was round one. I drew peg 13 on Old Match Lake, which definitely was not a favourable area. I don't think it won a penny through all 6 rounds, to be honest. Not making excuses. It just was really, really tough. I've had £8, I think, of like bits and bobs, and then I had a few part really late down the edge. But it's just really frustrating, to be honest. And it was a little bit close. Like, one more cart would have got me another point. So this was today's results on the Old Match Late, just to prove up my statement. So Andy Dix is a good angler, and look at the results. Fair play to Matty. Matt has done really well off 10. So round two, drew peg 16 on Heron, which wasn't a bad draw, wasn't awful, but definitely would have sooner been on 4 and 6 personally. But hey, I wasn't, and again just fell a little bit short. Dwayne's just beat us. Fair play, Gary Knight's won the section again because he won the section round one as well. So yeah, just I couldn't catch on the pole, which was really frustrating. I had a little bit of a run on the method, trying to set up 2 different lines on the method to keep them coming, but it just didn't happen. I really struggled to catch, which was frustrating. And at this point now, first 2 rounds of the Ivy House Winter League, I am really behind. So round three, I've drawn peg 35, M peg. Now this is right in the corner. Now this is definitely going to be a feast or famine. Now the only concern is the lake's quite clear, it is cold, and everyone walks past your peg. So a lot of anglers from Kingfisher walk past your peg to get to their peg, which is fine. And also everyone who fishes moorhen has to walk past your peg, but they walk on your far bank. So that's the problem. So people walk on your far bank. So you've got 7 anglers that just walk past you to get to moorhen. And then you've got several anglers walk past you to get to Kingfisher on your far bank. Now don't get me wrong, um, it's a peg that can throw up, and I was lucky that there was a few fish in that corner and I've caught. To be honest with you, this match, I was really lucky. I've had 2 fish on the bread. That was enough to win the lake. And then I fed some maggots and I've caught some smaller fish as well. And it did fish really hard, but the water's absolutely freezing. And again, these lakes, all of these lakes are full of fish. So you can't say there ain't no fish in them. And to be fair, people don't say that because people that know it know how many fish are in it. But I fish a lot of venues around the country, and you see it all the time where it doesn't matter how many fish you've got in a lake, they just pull up, shoal up, and sometimes they just do not want to feed. Like some of these underwater videos, not going to name drop anyone else, but some of these underwater videos are fascinating where people literally drop bait right on top of the fish and they just don't want it. I mean, you get it in a garden pond when the water's really cold, you can feed bait, and obviously these fish have never ever been caught before in the garden pond, and they just ignore it. So I was lucky, won the lake. But great, but I need a miracle now to get in, and a lot of luck. So round four saw me drew peg 21 on Willow. Uh yeah. Well, you got to fish what the peg's capable of. So this was going to be, I'm going to edge my bet. So I started for a carp, never had one, didn't think I'd have one, so chucked it into the bay. And this is such a shallow peg. Now, maybe in retrospect, maybe I should have pinged some pellets on the far bank, and then maybe would have seen fish stirring at the bottom and stuff, and then chucked a lead when they showed themselves. But I felt that was never going to happen. Again, it's gone cold, so I think you're better off with like maybe single hook baits or something like that, and just hoping that you chuck it out and you land on one. So anyway, I chucked one out, never caught, and then figured, right, gonna edge my bets now, catching as many like small fish like skimmers and roach as possible. Um, don't get me wrong, I've had a fantastic day. I've caught like literally an honest £16 a roach, and then what you call it, a few skimmers and F1s to top us up. But again, just been wow. I don't know if you can call it luck. I think luck may be wrong word, but look at this. Here's the weights from me. Carl Mumford's just beat us by a pound. You know what I mean? I've chucked one out last sort of quarter of an hour, hoping to catch some fish, catch a carp. It just hasn't happened. And I would have stayed catching roach, then obviously this would have been great. But you never know. Could have been really, really lucky. Chuck one out and could have had a 15-pound carp, and then I would have won the lake. But that didn't happen. And at the end of the day, you got to take it on the chin. Made bad mistakes. If I'd have fished an absolute blinder, maybe if I was a better angler, maybe 30 pound of silvers was achievable. Nah, more than that. 35 pound of silvers may be achievable. Well, I feel whoever would have done that would have fished an absolute blinder. I think to catch 40 pound of silvers, I think would have been very tough. Drew's done really well. He's had 40 pound. He's had a lot of silvers, and he's had a few like chunky F1s to top it up. But fair play, he's made the right decision. He's fished a pole from start to finish, so fair play to him. And this was today's results on there. So obviously 21 wasn't a great area. And I'm not trying to like do this to show how great I am, because I'm not saying for 1 second I'm great, but just want to I'm saying that these pegs were tough, and I'm just trying to back up what I'm saying rather than people go, oh yeah, he's just saying it. So hey, paper don't lie. So round 5 on Heron, I've drawn peg 11, which definitely is not a bad area. Um, to the right, I feel is like the epicenter. So peg like 9, in my opinion's very good in the winter, just because it's very wide. For those who don't know it, I just think the fish just back off into there because they can just get further away from you. So that is literally the widest peg on the venue. People refer to it as the bay. 8's been quite good because 7's not been in. 10's are great, and don't get me wrong, 11's good, definitely good, and sometimes 11 could be amazing because you've got like a long edge to your left. I didn't catch down that edge, which was really frustrating again. And again, just get pipped. Just the story of my life, really. Like Willow was frustrating because a few late carp got beat. Sorry, a few late carp got caught, which just beat my freaking roach. Which is always going to happen. Yeah, Willow's full of great big carp, and again, you got some good anglers. That light began to go, and that's really, really important. As I've said earlier, like I had to go for him, didn't catch one. That's cost me a point because Carl's just beat me 24 pound to my 23 pound, and like Gary and Miko B have both caught carp late. So, this is fishing. This is what makes it challenging, making the right decisions, and sometimes just having a little bit of the rub of the green. So yeah. So overall, I come a disappointing 17th out of 48. So not great by my standards, but hey, it is what it is. So it might be worth pausing the video so you can see all the results. Can't wait for next year. Actually, no, I rephrase that. I'm looking forward to next year, but I don't want it to come too soon because I want to be catching some fish on some plates. Hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I haven't rambled on too much, but I thought I'd give a review. Hope you've enjoyed it. And I will catch you very soon.